What's good, double leg fam? Hey, Jai Picks here and the parlay. We're going to be going over all the bets we have for you in UFC Vegas 68 here. It is 11:08 here, Friday, February 3rd. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but that will be it'll be posted. So there's your timestamp on here. So we're not posting anything late, but it's Friday, February 3rd, 11:08, and we're gonna go through the card now with all of our bets. Give a little description why we chose what we chose, so you can get where our mind is at on everything. So we'll start with the main event. I really did not like much on this main event. Just like middling heavyweights. I didn't want to get too invested, but I did think Lewis was worth the sprinkle by KO, or by KO sub or DQ. I got it at plus 215, so I threw a quarter of a unit on that, and that's my only play in this one. What do you got?
So on this one, this is like the last fight of the night. I wanted to guarantee, or at least try to guarantee a little bit of profit in this one. I think somebody gets knocked out, whether it's Sergey Spivak by TKO, getting Lewis down on the ground and using the ground and pound and strength to get him out of there, or I think Derek Lewis finds the KO. So I've got a unit on Sergey Spivak by KO, which is going to pay 1.35 units, and then I also put a half unit on Derek Lewis by KO, which is plus 240. So that's going to, at least recoup your losses if Sergey Spivak doesn't get the knockout. If Sergey Spivak does get the knockout, we're in the profit just to end the night. I hate those last fights of the night where you're like, riding on this bet to hit to be way up, or riding on this bet if it loses, you're way down. So this is kind of my, ending the night on a positive note. Hopefully, no matter what, I see somebody getting knocked out. So those are the two I've got on this last fight.
Yeah, I think Spivak's the rightful favorite. I just can't play it
Yeah.
for what it is, and we'll just stick with Lewis there. Dawoon Jung, Devin Clark. The only play I have on this is I have Dawoon Jung in a 3-leg parlay just on the money line. Devin Clark doesn't do it for me. I think he's like 1-5 as a UFC underdog. Dawoon Jung should win this for sure. That I didn't want to get too invested though, just because it's just a greasy fight, and bigger guys, light heavyweight, anything could happen. I don't like that Devin Clark could just stall him out and go for control time, and maybe Dawoon Jung gasses out a little bit towards the second and third round, but I think Dawoon Jung wins. I didn't want to get too invested in it though, just throwing him in a parlay at the price. What do you got?
Yeah, so Dawoon Jung, like you said, should win this fight. Devin Clark, he's got a lot of losses on his record. He's not going to stand and bang with the best in the division, especially a guy like Dawoon Jung, who is really good on the feet. He's solid, and he's going to be a lot taller, a lot longer. Devin Clark's going to have to wrestle. And then I keep going back to Dawoon Jung's takedown defense, which is like, 80% or so, right in that 80% ballpark. So I've got Dawoon Jung by KO because the striking is good. That's how he's going to get it done. For a half a unit. And then I also sprinkled a tenth of a unit on Dawoon Jung, second round KO, which is plus 600. I think it takes him a little bit of time to figure Devin Clark out, because Devin Clark might be shooting takedowns. He is kind of he's a shorter guy for the division. His movement is a little bit weird at times. So I think by that second round, maybe Devin Clark's a little tired from shooting the takedowns in the first round, and Dawoon Jung can catch him. But yeah, the play, Dawoon Jung KO. He's got a bunch on his record, and he's going to definitely be the better striker in this matchup, in my opinion. So we're going to take him half a unit by KO at plus 120.
All right, Tybura Ivanov, another middling heavyweight fight here. A little bit lesser of what are they, like 7 and 10 or something like that, as far as rankings go. But I think you got Tybura in this one.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yep, I got Tybura on this one, 1.5 units. I'm actually a little bit more confident in this play than a lot of the ones on my card. I just think he's riding the momentum. I mean, if he can go out there and beat Alexander Romanov, a 16-0 killer who's rising through the ranks, he should be able to take care of Blahoy Ivanov. I do think it goes to decision. I'm not going to have a play on it, but if it does go to the decision, I think Tybura is going to have, the better style and more I guess, tools to keep the fight where he wants. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be longer. If it goes to the ground, Tibura is no slouch. I know Blagoy is not really either, but I do see Tibura, getting the best of it. He is taller. Blagoy is kind of a shorter guy for the division.
Yeah.
Not real long reach. I don't think he's going to find the chin easily. I think Tibura is just going to coast to a decision victory. 1.5 units minus 125 on BetOpenly is where I took Marcin Tibura.
The only play I got on that is even off by decision. As
Ooh.
you said, I think it probably goes to decision, and I got to take the dog in this one. In middling heavyweights, I'm always going to lean the dog, especially if it's going to go to decision and you're getting some bigger plus money. I got plus 225 on that. So just for a quarter of a unit, I feel good about that price for what I got it at. So Duho Choi, Kyle Nelson. I really wanted to get on board with Duho Choi. I just couldn't get myself to do it. But I got the only play in that one I got is the under 2.5 in a parlay. Just straight up under 2.5 in a parlay. That I'll go over later. But what else you got on it?
Yeah, I took the under 2.5 too. That's exactly what I took. It's a little pricier for an over under, but with the way these two come out, Kyle Nelson can actually strike too. He's not like a bum on the feet, and he hits pretty hard. I think, and Choi obviously has got some really slick striking, and he's been off for a while, so I think he's going to come out aggressive and excited to be back in the octagon. I think somebody gets finished. I think it's in the first 2 rounds. So yeah, under 2.5. And I did accidentally leave out my first parlay, which is Da-Un Jung money line and Duho Choi money line. I do think he's going to be too fast for Kyle Nelson. I think he's going to win the exchanges, have more volume, and if it goes on into the fight, hopefully his cardio's there and he just puts on a clinic on the feet and gets the victory one way or the other. But yeah, I really like that 2.5 under.
Yeah, I forgot to put in my prize picks play for Tibura under 1.5 takedowns. I don't think he'll be able to get Blagoy to the ground more than once. And honestly, I think it's just going to be a back and forth striking battle. If he does get him to the ground, I don't think Blagoy is going to be like springing back to his feet and then it's just back to the ground again. I think if he gets one, I'm cool with that. I don't think he gets more than one. So under 1.5 takedowns. Kinoshita, Adam Fugit. I think that's like it now. Fugit or Fugit.
I don't know which one.
Whatever. We'll go with Fugit. Kinoshita. I got the under 2.5 rounds at minus 130 or 130 earlier in the week for a unit. I think it's like minus 155, minus 160 now. So good line value on that one. I got Kinoshita by KO plus 125 for a half unit. And then I got Kinoshita in a 3-leg parlay with Da-Un Jung and another man that we will talk about in a few minutes here. But I think that's all I got on that one. So I'm high on Kinoshita.
I am too. What we saw in the Contender Series was just, it shows you that going up against a guy, Fugit's only fought on the Contender Series as well. Is that correct?
He had a UFC debut against Michael Morales.
That's right. Which was actually, if you look at that fight, he lost, but for short notice, he did, he held his own for a little bit against a guy in Michael Morales, but I'm just not impressed with him. He was almost like, fighting in that fight, just kind of defensive, just trying to survive. And against Kinoshita, man, that striking's fast. It's slick. Even if Fugit gets a takedown or two, Kinoshita wants to win this fight. He's a guy that UFC wants to win this fight because he's going to be very marketable in that side of the world. I love that KO line at plus 140 right now. I didn't want to touch his money line at minus 3, whatever it is now. But I got the KO at plus 140. I got 0.75 units on it. And I like that one a lot. I think he finds the chin. And even if he doesn't put him out early, I think as the fight goes on, he's just going to wear him down and find enough shots to put him out there in some time in the fight.
Yeah, I think Fugit, he averaged like 7.6 strikes absorbed per minute.
Yeah,
that's just not going to happen with Kinoshita. If you're going to get hit that many times against Kinoshita, you're going to go out.
Yeah.
Next one, Anshul Jubli Jeka Saragi. I got Saragi on the money line for even money at 0.75 units, and then a little sprinkle on Sergey by KO for a quarter of a unit at plus 275. I thought wrong fighter favorite, so you're getting like a little bit of value on that one. But should be a good scrap, I think. What do you got?
Do we have the same exact plays? I really like him here, honestly. I mean, Jubilee, if I'm not wrong, he only has 2 finishes in his career, one by submission, one by knockout. Is that right? So,
yeah.
I mean, and then you look at Sergey, and the dude can crack. He had on the road to the UFC, he had a knockout that he landed that right hand that was fast, it was quick, straight down the pipe, and it sounded like a tree broke when he hit the guy. I mean, it was so loud, knocked him out cold. He just has way more ways to win the fight. I think he can hang on the ground. He's going to be faster. Striking is going to be more powerful. I think, as from what I've seen from Jubilee, he's a well-rounded mixed martial artist, but he's not like a overpowering guy. He's not out there smoking people by any means. So I think he's going to get caught by Sergey. And like you said, I got minus 105 on the money line for 1 unit, and I got the knockout price at plus 240. And I've got a quarter of a unit on that as well.
Yeah, just to explain a bit more about why I thought the wrong fighter favored. Jubilee won his only fight in the road to the UFC. He had a cancel bout and then a split decision win, which he kind of gassed out towards. It was a close fight. It could have went either way. A lot of people said it should have gone to a 4th round, and then Saragi 2 finishes. So I mean, on the road to the UFC, I think Sergey should have been favored.
Yeah,
that was a doubter.
Yeah, and like before the odds came out, and I was watching film on both guys, watching them side by side, I said, okay, Jekka, this guy's going to be like another minus 200, minus 250 favorite. And the lines came out, and they're like deadlocked even. I jumped all over it. I mean, you kind of have to at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even if he loses, that's the right play, in my opinion.
Yeah, could be a trap, but we'll see. Jia Yi, Zhongyang Li. I couldn't get myself to go either side, but I did take the under 2.5 rounds, which I paired with Duho Choi and Kyle Nelson for a plus 113 parlay for 0.75 units. That's the only play I got in this one. I think it's just going to be violence. But I don't mind Jia Yi as an underdog, but Zhongyang Li just comes out so fast that he could gas himself out. And Jia Yi could get a late finish or something like that. So what do you got?
Yeah, no, I took Zhongyang Li here in a parlay on the money line, and then I also took him by knockout. Jia Yi, he's got a lot of experience. He's 21-3, but at the same time, like you watch him, I think he's hittable. He's kind of durable, but there's something about Zhongyang Li that I think is another guy that could push in that Asian market. He's exciting. He can get finishes. I think he does get the knockout here. I think his striking is going to be a lot better than Jia Yi's. If Yi can get it to the ground, he's got a chance for a submission. He's pretty good on the ground. But I got a half unit on him by KO at plus 115. I didn't want to touch the money line there straight up. And I honestly did like his striking enough that I'm confident he could get the KO here. And I've also got him in a parlay with Young Sun Park, who we're going to talk about next, or coming up. And that parlay is plus 110 for a half a unit as well.
Good stuff. Rinya Nakamura and Toshiomi Kazama. Nakamura, probably my most confident fighter this week. The guy looks like a stud, and I always love to back wrestling. So I'm taking Nakamura in round 1 or 2, minus 115 for a unit. He comes out hot, and he's got a bunch of first-round finishes. And then I got Nakamura in the 3-leg parlay with Kinoshita and Daewoo Jung. I got Nakamura inside the distance parlayed with Tatsuro Taira inside the distance for 133 for a half unit. And then I got the second play for the Prize Picks power play is under 10 minutes of fight time for Nakamura. That was a no-doubter because on the books it was like minus 165. So I had to play that. Paired that with the Tybura under 1.5 takedowns. I think that's all I got on that one. But yeah, a lot of action on Nakamura for me.
Yeah. I wish you could bet on performance of the night because that's who I'd go with. The dude's like an elite wrestler, and he's super powerful too. he's going to get, he can get knockouts, and he will get knockouts as his career goes on. He's super powerful. I actually waited. I wanted to see if that -4, I forget what he was, would drop a little bit. In these last 2 days, I haven't been able to find him on FanDuel. So I haven't been able to put anything in yet. He's not on my card right now, but it's probably something I'll probably put him in a parlay and send it in the Discord sometime tomorrow. But yeah, I think he wins this. I think that's the lock of the night, regardless of odds or anything. I think he goes in there and gets it done for sure. I think he's definitely a good parlay piece. I really like him tomorrow. I think he's going to show some real high level skill, and like I said, maybe one of the best fighters on this card as far as guys from road to the UFC and from that part of the world. He's impressive.
Yeah, and his opponent, Kazama, decision win and then a cancel bout in the road to the UFC. So I mean, he hasn't really showed much. Does have some decent submissions, but Nakamura's a beast, man. You can do it submission or knockout. That's why I didn't go with a prop. I just took him round 1 or 2 because you can do both, and I don't want to be kicking myself for taking one side and not the other. So that is that. Hyun Sung Park and Sunguk Choi. The only play I got on this one is Sung Park inside the distance at plus 215 for a quarter of a unit. Comes out extremely hot. Flyweights usually does not go the distance. And Sunguk Choi hasn't shown much, in my opinion. I mean, he goes to decision, but are you going to go to decision with Hyun Sung Park? Like, the guy comes out like a madman and wants to get it done. Back-to-back first-round finishes in the road to the UFC. He's going to come out hot again, and he could gas himself out. I think that's the only way that he loses this fight is if it gasses out and Sunguk Choi takes over in the second and third, but I don't see that happening. So give me Park inside the distance. What do you got?
Yeah, no, I like it. I wanted to take Choi so bad because he's the one that comes from Korean Zombie MMA.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't, like, watching him, I just couldn't get behind him. I think Hyun Sung Park is super explosive. I think he's going to be hungry for the finish. I know you took him inside the distance. I did not. I'm going to play the -200 at 2.5 units. It's my biggest play of the night, probably my most confident. I just really think everywhere this fight goes, he's a better fighter. Super well-rounded. Striking's good. Ground game's good. Can get takedowns in there as well. I just don't see Choi catching him for one. I don't see him being better than him anywhere. And for that reason, for some reason, it's telling me this is the guy to put my most money on, most confident in, and that's what we're going to rock with.
I like it. I didn't have the ball to lay the chalk, so I just sprinkled inside the distance. Figured they're flyweights. It's going to be a lot of action, so I'll take the inside the distance. But the D-Gen play of the week for me, I had to throw something on it. I took Mandy Bohm by split decision plus 1,100 for 0.1 units, a tenth of a unit. Had to throw it. I mean, it's probably going to go to decision. You probably want the underdog ticket if it's going to go to decision, and why not juice it up to a split decision and just get really degenerate about it? Tenth of a unit plus 1,100. Mandy Bohm. Come back to this when it hits.
I got nothing on this one. I made the video on TikTok saying I'm not touching this fight. You need to call the gamblers hotline if you're putting money on Kim in this at -270 because of her track record. So yeah, man, I got to stick to my word and stick to my discipline. Yeah, I'm not going to take either fighter in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll call the gamblers hotline after this. But
hey, you took Bohm. I mean, it doesn't hurt to take a dog. So
maybe it'll be the clip of the week. Plus 1,100 hit. Well, maybe the clip of the week there. Dennis Tallulah, Jun Young Park. I think we're both on Tallulah here. I got a half a unit on him on the money line at plus 185 and a quarter of a unit. And Tallulah by KO at plus 300. I just like the finishing ability by him. If he gets it done, it's probably inside the distance, probably by KO. So Jung Young Park, the level of competition hasn't been great for the wins he's gotten, and the way he's gotten the wins don't necessarily like it. Tallulah, the win over Pickett is what it is, but he's going to come out like a madman. if he gets taken down, it's not going to be looking good for him, but he's just got to come out and be aggressive. He showed at the end of his last fight, like if he goes off, he can't really be stopped too much. So give me Tallulah.
Yeah, that's my favorite underdog of the week. I honestly think like him, who he fought Jamie Pickett in his last fight, right? That was his last fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you break it down, I was watching film on Tallulah and watched that fight, and then watching film on Park. I mean, it's kind of the same style as Pickett. He's got wrestling. You know, he strikes not with a lot of power or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think Dennis Tallulah knows the blueprint to beat guys like that. He obviously has power in his hands. He's got, I think, 6 out of his 9 wins are by KO. He's training with Sean Strickland. That's not a bad thing. It's going to toughen you up a little bit. And like he showed against Pickett, man, if he can get in a flow and then he can get you just a little bit hurt and keep you on the feet and back you up against the cage, he can land some devastating shots to the body, come upstairs, and just put you away. And I got him at plus 170, and I snatched that up because I thought it was going to go the other way. I honestly thought the odds would close a little bit.
So
it kind of went the opposite way, which made me a little bit nervous, but I got him at plus 170. I think that's still decent value on a finisher like this. For a half a unit, that's my dog of the week. I'm hoping he hits. If he can hit, that'll start our night off pretty good. So, yeah, Dennis Tallulah.
Tatsuro Taira, Jesus Aguilar. Jesus Aguilar looks like a weirdo, honestly. Like, no shade, but like,
got those T-Rex arms too.
At the weigh-ins, like the guy was something to watch. I got Taira by sub. I'm pretty sure most people do. Minus 150 is a little chalky, but fight's probably gonna hit the ground. Taira, I think, is the much better grappler offensively. I got minus 150 for 0.75 units, and then the Taira inside the distance paired up with Nakamura inside the distance, as I said before, plus 133 for a half a unit. That's all I got on that one. What do you got?
Yeah, before these props came out, I was saying anything under minus 150, I'm throwing a unit on. I grabbed it minus 140 for 1 unit to end this thing by submission. And like his last fight against CJ Vergara, he got the later submission by armbar, but he was in position to get a sub, like, you know, many times in the fight.
Yeah.
And Jesus Aguilar was taken down on the regional scene pretty easily by guys. And, you know, Tatsuro Taira is fast. He shoots in explosively. I think he'll get it to the ground. And, you know, I honestly think CJ Vergara is a better fighter than Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar coming off the Contender Series. I just think he's going to sub him a lot faster than he did Vergara. I mean, the money line odds tell the whole story. I think, you know, that's a little high, but he should be a massive favorite in this fight. There's no reason he should lose to Jesus Aguilar. I don't think he gets a knockout. I don't think he's really at this point in his career looking for knockouts. He has good leg kicks and stuff like that. He'll soften you up, but he'll get you to the ground, get that body triangle, and then, you know, swim away at submissions. And I think he finds it in this one. I think we're going to start the night up a unit, minus 140, submission, Tatsuro Taira.
I forgot to say, I do have a fight to not go the distance on that fight at minus 170 for a unit. From what I'm looking at right now, fight to not go the distance is minus 275. Might be just a juiced up book or what, but like that's some good closing line value I got on that. Got that pretty early in the week, so feeling good about that. That's it. That's all the fights. We didn't have any canceled bouts or anything, but if you're watching this after the fights happen and we got some picks right, please leave a like, subscription, and a comment down below. If you want to join the Double Leg Premium, the link will be down in the description. $19.99 a month, or you can buy just the bets for $9.99 every week. But other than that, at the Double Leg on all the social medias, at HeyJaiPicks for me, where can they find you?
TikTok at The Parlay, Instagram, The Parlay_media, and YouTube, The Parlay MMA.
And this is the first exclusive or Double Leg Premium exclusive video. So this is posted for the members before the fights, and then will be uploaded to YouTube after the fights. So that is that. Until the next video, we'll be recapping UFC Vegas 68, the Double Leg. We out.